I was out with my friend for lunch a while back at a buffet, and I had gotten macaroni and tomatoes on my plate. And she said, "Is that good?" And I said, "Yeah, it's pretty good." So she went back and she got her some. And she came back and I saw she wasn't eating it, and I asked her, and she said, "Nah, it's a little bit bland." And she said, Mom always put onions in it and maybe a little garlic powder, a few things. Anyways, I thought it was good because I was raised when Mom fixed macaroni and tomatoes. It was just macaroni and tomatoes, a little salt, none of that extra stuff. And in my mind was trained that macaroni and tomatoes is just macaroni and tomatoes. See, those early years, that's what forms our thinking and the way things are supposed to be in our minds. I was reading Proverbs this morning is what made me think of that. Proverbs chapter 4, it says, "Hear, O sons, a father's instruction, and be attentive that you may gain insight. For I give you good precepts. Do not forsake my teaching. When I was a son with my father, tender, the only one in the sight of my mother, he taught me and said to me, let your heart hold fast my words, keep my commands and live." So it's our jobs as adults and parents especially. You are 100% responsible for how you train your children. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Start children off on the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not turn from it." That's a maxim. Everybody has free will, but it kind of says get their mind trained. The most formative years in a person's life are from birth to age 5, maybe up to 8. So in those years, we need to be teaching our children about Jesus and about spiritual warfare and all these things the world's going to throw at us, because it's real, and you can't expect someone else to do it or hope someone else is doing it. You can't send them off to Sunday school and think that they're getting everything they need, even if they are in a really good Sunday school class, youth group, good church. That's only an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week. There's a lot of time there. And if you can get into a child's mind at that young age and teach them Jesus, I think Satan's also trying to get in their mind at that young age, because whatever we get in our minds at those young ages are most likely to stick. I like this part here in verse 3, and you probably saw that I emphasized that. When I was a son with my father, tender. When children are young, they're tender. If you think about a plant like a tomato plant or a vine, if you want to put it on a trellis or in a basket, you have to start it when it's little, when it's tender, and start weaving it through. If you wait until it's old, big, and try to bend those branches or those vines, it'll snap. It doesn't work. You're formative and tender when you're young. And I would just encourage you, actually plead with you, not just encourage you, I would plead with you to have your children in church. Teach them the Bible throughout the week. You don't have to. You don't have to just sit down and drill it into them, but there's opportunities all through the day to say, do you see that? Do you know what the Bible says about that? Do you know what that's going to cause? The Bible sets out those parameters that keep us safe. Use those all day long to teach your children. It doesn't have to be a classroom setting. Life is school. Teach them as you go. You all have a blessed day.